And we're back for another episode of the Department Podcast here with Justin, Jesse, Steve, and Joe. This week, we're breaking down week 1 of the NFL season. Football is back, thank God, honestly. And to start off, we'll start with the 4 o'clock games, then go to the 1 o'clock games, talk about Thursday Night Football. Then we'll wrap up, because we're recording this right now as Sunday Night Football is going on between the Rams and the Cowboys, so we'll touch on that on the end. And then we'll give our picks for the doubleheader of Monday Night Football games between the Titans and the Broncos, and then the Giants and the Steelers. Guys, what's going on? Football's back.
Oh, man. It feels so good to record this podcast.
I'm so happy. Like you said, Justin, football's back. The world is somewhat a little bit a better place right now because football's back, but very happy. Very, very happy, boy.
It snuck up on us. And I'm happy to have a lot of overreactions for all based on just week 1. Let's do it.
One single day of football.
One single day of football, and we're all going to just bury some team season. We're going to call it over.
I'm with it.
So not to jump to conclusions or anything on the first game that we're talking about, but Tom Brady and the Saints, Tom Brady looks a little old now. You know, game without Bill by his side and out of the system, Saints win 34-23. You think Brady's starting to regret it a little bit?
No.
First of all, no.
No.
The answer is entirely no, because he does have pieces. So, I mean, all those people who were wondering what this greatest God-given talent Tom Brady would be like if he had weapons, you're seeing it. And it's the same. It is legitimately the same. So enjoy that.
I think we have to be fair a little bit here to Tampa. They have some new pieces trying to fit in a new offense because you have an arm limit with Tom Brady. So you need to change some of the things you're running there.
Yeah.
They needed a preseason.
Yeah, if
anybody needed a training camp, it was Tampa.
Because the
first thing needed it.
The first thing I noticed right off the gate was Brian Leftwich and Tom Brady not on the same page.
Not on the same page whatsoever.
Because he went to the wrong house, looking for Leftwich's house, which was this great story back in March.
But it's clear Brady wanted to just keep getting it to Gronk because that's what he knew, basically. And they keep wanting to try to run the ball and pass the ball.
Gronk looked a step way too slow.
Gronk was not in football shape.
Gronk was not in football shape.
He was in weight loss shape, like getting slim, like all the linemen do after they're done retiring, honestly.
You weren't expecting Gronk.
Of course.
Oh, no, absolutely. But that's where Brady needs to check away from that.
Yeah.
You have Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, O.J. Howard. I mean, you're not missing guys.
Yeah.
But it's also incredibly hard. They had to play the New Orleans Saints week 1.
In the Dome. Granted, no fans, but you're still in the Dome.
Still on a home turf. You know how that stadium is. You know how that stadium feels. And it didn't also help that the Bucs defense was not too hot altogether, giving up 20-something points. So,
and oh boy, 5 days after signing his contract, Alvin Kamara looks to be worth every dime of it because he helped carry the Saints offense a little bit.
Yeah, what do you get, like 3?
And him and Taysom Hill are going to have to do a lot. But I if there's anyone I trust to work around Breeze's limitations, it's Sean Payton. I mean, some of the things he pulled out today were outstanding. I mean, the special teams trickery, which you're always good, at least once a season for some Sean Payton.
Or a Super Bowl.
Here's my thing. Yeah, victims over there.
Yeah, my PTSD still is in full effect from that.
Uh-huh.
Tom Brady looks like he has no idea what to do with outside receivers.
I can respect that.
Well, it's almost like the old saying, when you're under pressure, you default to what you know, right? And he knows Gronk. And that's why it's almost like he was trying to force it and wasn't looking for Godwin or Evans or whoever. But, I noticed, though, he did like to throw to Leonard Fournette a lot more than I thought he was going to initially.
Brady doesn't throw to outside receivers. He hasn't in a long time.
No, Joe's right. Joe's right. Look at Edelman.
The only time he's really aired it out to outside receivers was to Moss that 1 year in 06.
And that's it. Otherwise, it's someone in the slot or someone else.
It has been running back.
Well, because look at his best receivers in reality. Wes Welker defined the slot receiver to another level. Julian Edelman, basically, Wes Welker
again.
Light at that point, So they have to just figure things out. I'm sure Tom Brady is already looking at film, trying to figure shit out at that point to get ready for next week. But if this is what the Bucs could look like, they very well could miss out on the playoffs. Not entirely,
let's not get ahead of ourselves.
But they definitely could be a wild card team at that point because the Bucs could very quickly run away with this division then.
You're looking at two teams that are making the playoffs in this week one matchup right here. The Saints and Bucs, I think, are locks almost to make the playoffs. I picked the Bucs to win a division. I'm still going to stick with it for now, but it could go either way at this point, honestly. But I think next week's a good test for them too, because they're not playing as good as a team. They're still playing a pretty decent team. I think we're playing the Panthers next week. So
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a test. It's a little bit more of it's not as hard. It's like a high school
like
test compared to a middle school test almost. Like the Saints are like the high school test and like the Panthers are the middle school test kind of.
Well, and here's the thing. For the most part, they kept on pace with the Saints, right? The Saints are the bar for the South. You know, if you can beat up on the Panthers and beat up on the Falcons, that's how you get into the playoffs, basically. Now, the big thing for the Bucs moving forward is get on the same page offensively, but also take the game against the Saints at home and actually win it and just split the season series. You can't get swept by the Saints, though.
I agree.
Big takeaways from the game. The first one is that the sloppiness of the Buccaneers was not entirely Jameis Winston's fault. They were sloppy last year, but it was more than just Jameis Winston. I mean, some of the penalties, absolutely disastrous, shooting themselves in the foot. Number 2 is that Marshawn Lattimore is elite. I mean, that just has to be put out in the universe. I feel like the guy has flown under the radar for too long now. The guy is the truth. And the third one is that Saints need, and they're going to be fine, obviously, but they do need to fully work around the obvious Father Time Drew Brees situation because yikes.
Yeah, people are talking about Brady aging and not talking about Brees aging as much, I feel. Because I know Brady threw the pick 6, but Brees did not play the best game, honestly. He was,
and we really haven't seen age catch up to Brees quickly.
Now.
You know, he's aged gracefully by quarterback standards, you know? Because, like, Peyton Manning, we saw a hard drop-off. Tom Brady, you know, we're starting to see a gradual decline. Eli Manning was a hard drop-off also, and he wasn't even as old as these guys. Phillip Rivers is – oh, boy, he's definitely a 38-year-old quarterback.
Oh, he's so, 50-year-old quarterback.
Maybe this is clearly the decline that's been the inevitable for Drew Brees.
Could be.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. He played tonight like he did against Minnesota. An ounce of pressure, and he was done. Cooked.
Yep.
And, I mean, they tried to the first-round pick, Pete, they tried to, and I'm sure he was kind of a disaster tonight, but he'll get better when he, you know, fits into the fold a little bit more. But, I mean, you gotta I usually, when Bruce was at his best, I was not a fan of, you know, putting Taysom Hill on the field and taking the ball out of his hands. But right now, you have Taysom. Use him.
Yeah, and they have all the weapons, you know, around him. Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, even Latavius Murray. For God's sakes, just use them. Just use them. So, switching gears to another game, 4:30, Chargers, Bengals, Joe Burrow's much-anticipated debut in the NFL, number 1 overall draft pick, the savior for the Bengals, and he's just Alex Smith and Kirk Cousins because he really can't throw downfield. And
That's a lie. That's a lie.
No, it's the truth.
It's not. Did you see?
He got picked off by a defensive lineman on a 3-yard screen.
It happened.
That was a shovel pass.
It's his first game in the NFL. Cut the kid some slack, all right?
I thought he was the most he was this NFL ready. He was
the most highly decorated college prospect.
He is.
One season. It was one season.
And it was still that season was the greatest college football season of all time, if we're being honest.
He's afraid to throw over the 10-yard line for the first
down.
He's
a rookie.
marker.
It was his first game in the league.
And no other rookies have ever had to go through this.
Yeah, literally, exactly, Jesse.
Let alone a quarterback. By the way, there's a reason he's literally the only rookie quarterback starting week 1 because the Bengals are a really bad franchise.
And no other option.
And the veteran
Had literally no other option. Couldn't even put a veteran out there if they wanted.
Exactly. And I think just the veteran presence he had in that last 2-minute drill to drive down the field and almost get a touchdown if it wasn't for a stupid penalty.
The way I see it is the missed field goal to lose the game, not on Burrow. He put them in position to tie the game. He did. He got them down there.
Yes.
Burrow make any impressive throws during that drive.
The one that was called off because of the penalty, yes. That was a dot at the front corner of the end zone.
Look at, like, say, Daniel Jones when he came against the Buccaneers last year. You know, he was impressive and making all the throws that you had to make as an NFL quarterback. Throughout the course of the game, Burrow didn't really have any of those.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did Daniel Jones play week 1 last year? No, I don't think he did. So that's great. Well, how about we compare Joe Burrow's week 6 to Daniel Jones's week 6?
Because at least the Giants were at least in position to try to squeeze out one more playoff run out of Eli.
And the Bengals had literally nothing. They have nothing for him to come into.
Literally
There's nobody
nothing.
there. There's nobody there teaching him how to be a quarterback at all.
But
even though you're crapping on no, you're crapping on Burrow right now. But look at the difference, how close this game was compared to previous Bengals games last year.
And the Bengals had the double pick for a reason. The Chargers are supposed to be a playoff team. They have a talented defense. They have a talented offense. I was told that the Chargers are a pretty decent team.
The Chargers picked, 6th last year?
I think so.
Oh, yeah. Well, Phillip Rivers was their quarterback, and they had some injuries, like a lot of injuries.
They're supposed to be a playoff team.
They could easily get a wild card spot.
Yeah, they can get a wild card spot. The AFC is not this elite conference that the NFC is.
It never has been.
Exactly. So the Bengals competed with them and should have been in overtime, and somehow Joe Burrow is a bust? I don't understand.
Honestly, could have won the game if it wasn't for the push-off. Could have won the game if we're being honest.
But here's the thing.
You're telling me Joe Burrow looked like
one impressive throw that almost won the game. It doesn't matter.
It does.
But where was it throughout the course of the game then? If he's this elite arm talent, I can't wait to see.
He's a rookie.
That only throws to running backs.
Huh?
That can only throw to running backs.
Oh my God! We just said about Tom Brady and how he threw to running backs and slot receivers, and how many rings does he have? How many rings does he have, Justin? How many rings does he have? Count them for me.
I'm sorry, Joe Burrow did inherit 6 rings in college football.
And Joe Burrow has a national championship ring. If you're crapping on him so hard, what other rookie quarterback looked better than him? There was no other one playing.
If we're having this conversation,
at least the teams who drafted a rookie quarterback, they want to groom that, not throw him to the fire.
They have nothing else, the Bengals.
Because the Bengals are a poverty franchise. They're the shittiest team.
That's why they picked Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow made them somewhat relevant against a team that they weren't relevant against.
God.
If Joe Burrow was really this tremendous...
He's Alex Smith 2.0.
We would have seen a shot downfield. We would have seen...
But he has 3 deep threats in Tyler Boyd, A.J. Green, and John Ross, and they didn't decide to air it out once for big plays.
A.J. Green runs like a 4.840 at this
He's a 6'4 receiver. You're telling me he couldn't...
That's great. He's a route runner and a red zone threat. He's not going to catch 60-yard bombs because he can't beat a linebacker, let alone a safety.
Maybe he should line up in the backfield, and then he'll catch a pass.
John Ross is a scintillating talent.
He's fast. Whoop-de-doo.
Scintillating.
Then get spaced downfield.
Joe Burrow has no
You
shot.
guys are acting like John Ross was this incredible player when Andy Dalton was there.
Oh, yeah, one deep shot.
Why did John Ross become an all-pro deep threat overnight?
Yeah, because I remember the one deep shot Joe Burrow took was 5 yards over A.J. Green's head in the end zone.
You're acting like it wasn't his first game in the league. You're acting like he's Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want Joe Burrow to come out gunslinging like Phillip Rivers.
Who is?
Nobody compares
Who
to
is?
Mahomes.
You're making him sound like he's a pure passer. You're making him sound like he's Dan Marino 2.0. Who?
No, nobody is saying that. All we're saying is this kid is a rookie quarterback. How about you cut him some slack, considering you just gave Daniel Jones the whole Giants franchise for a couple good throws that he didn't even win the game for.
Also, Joe Burrow is, 25 years old? He's literally...
Cool.
He's been in the league 1 year.
Not even. He's been in the league 1 game.
He's literally like 27. Like the guy.
He's Brandon Weeden.
Okay,
He's
we have
not
friends
Brandon
in
Weeden.
college that are 30 years old that are still in college. What do you do?
He's Jason Tatum. He's like, give him a break.
Okay, Jason Tatum's good.
He's only 19. Give him a break.
All right, clear takeaways from this game, though. Bengals should have been in overtime. Randy Bullock somehow hurt himself on a field goal.
Oh,
Typical kicker. Oh, boy. Bengals are going to bangle, but
Bengals gonna.
this will definitely be a hot button topic for the rest of the NFL season.
If you want to have this argument, week 6. 7,
We'll do it every
8,
week. We will do it
sure.
every week.
Sure.
I will find every excuse in the book. I was trying to find a way to blame that kick on Joe Burrow.
Just hating against the good-looking quarterback, oh man, jealousy.
I mean,
Jealousy.
it's terrible because really they put nothing around him for the most part. No good system, no good defense.
Justin said it earlier. Try putting Joe Mixon on the trade block. There's
plays,
nothing around him.
And he plays in a ridiculously hard division.
Joe, we can't hear you.
Wasn't Tyler Boyd a Pro Bowl receiver like 2 years ago?
Oh, a Pro Bowl receiver when like 7 people opt out from the Pro Bowl. Yeah, sure. Cool. The same way Teddy Bridgewater was a Pro Bowl quarterback when he threw like 19 touchdowns and 7 interceptions or like 12 interceptions. Cool. Anybody can be a Pro Bowler now. Like 10 people opt out.
All pros what matters. All pros what matters.
All right, moving on to the final 4 o'clock window. Joe's pick for the West, the 49ers, losing to Clark's number 2 best team in the West, the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray played like crap for the first 3 quarters, but he turned it up when it mattered and got the win. And he sure does like DeAndre Hopkins.
No, absolutely. DeAndre Hopkins going up against his zone corner. You know what happens. But really, it's a lot of fun. I like what Cliff Kingsbury's done year 2. It's cool. But the problem is, let's let George Kittle play a full game healthy, and then we'll have the conversation.
A tight end doesn't make that big of a difference, if we're being honest.
I thought Kyle Shanahan was like the greatest offensive genius that's ever lived. So
Clark,
I can't believe he can't scheme around losing one player.
Clark,
because if you're the greatest, if you're the greatest play caller of all time, and you're just this offensive genius that is just miles ahead of Sean McVay, how can you possibly let one player lose, like going out, just take your whole game plan? I mean, how is that possible?
Well, because here's the issue. The Niners' entire offense is built around George Kittle.
He's an offensive genius. He can't pivot.
Well, after that, Jimmy Garoppolo's brain just turns off of who he has to throw to.
Jimmy Garoppolo could not make the throws. They would have won the game if he could make the throws.
He's very
okay, so we're now off the Jimmy Garoppolo bandwagon, right?
I was never on it.
Which is it? Because I can't tell what side anybody's on.
Oh, us 3.
I've heard that the Niners are a dynasty, but I've also heard that
one person said that.
Super Bowl.
One person said that.
I'm not going to let one game tell me everything that I know.
It's an important game, though.
Rewind a little bit. I'm not going to say one game defy everything. We just talked about Joe Burrow the last 20 minutes, how you're defying him off of one game.
He was checked down Charlie in college.
Okay.
For one season.
They went to the Super Bowl last year. The Niners went to the Super Bowl.
I remember Jimmy Garoppolo being a stud just throwing to those outside.
Joe Burrow won a college championship, which means he's better than Jimmy G because he lost the Super Bowl by your guys' logic.
The 49ers won the NFC championship, making them the best team in the NFC.
How many rings does Jimmy G have? 2.
As a backup, Jacoby Brissett has the rings too. And look at him.
He's got them.
Okay.
I'm not having an argument
so does the
about
backup
that. That's not a real argument.
That's irrelevant.
That's not.
That's
very irrelevant.
We talk about dumb shit here, but let's just squash that.
That's very irrelevant.
Hey, I'm just saying.
The Cardinals, though, are a lot better than they were last year, though.
Yeah.
Their offense moves a lot faster. And Kyler's definitely a better quarterback than I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, they're impressive.
Defense needs a lot of help, though.
I read a nice piece that Cliff Kingsbury actually took a page out of the Shanahan book, rotating running backs in and out to try to keep the defense on their toes. So that's something that offensive guru Kingsbury learned from the great offensive guru Sean McVay. And it worked out today because Kenyon Drake is a split carry sort of back, and I don't understand why everyone was calling him the next Joe Mixon.
No one was calling him that, Joe. No one at all.
Literally.
And fantasy football.
Oh.
Love Kenyon Drake. I didn't understand it.
He's great for PPR leagues. That's why.
The Cardinals, though, if they can beef up the defense a little bit, they definitely become a better team. They could win 8 games this year, though. I think
They could win 8 games and then be moving into a contender kind of role because of Kyler's contract.
I agree.
So
100% agree.
I think this also speaks to, do I still think the 49ers make the playoffs? Yes, absolutely. Are they the same team as last year? I don't think so, because there is some talent that left. Not that much, but there is some pieces that left, and now you do have that Super Bowl hangover hanging over you.
And this is just like,
and it doesn't help though that you come out week 1 and lose to a division rival.
They're on a 2-game losing streak, for being honest.
It's not like they were like the Rams were inconsolable, this terrible team.
No, but the issue with the Niners is that do you trust Jimmy G to come back and win it when you have to in crunch time? I really don't think so. And we kind of saw that today.
I trust Joe Burrow more, if I'm being honest.
You trust Joe Burrow after one career game?
After seeing that 2-minute drive, yes.
Do you go back and watch the Saints 49ers game from last year? Because I feel like this is just something that just is erased. I don't know if it was a Men in Black situation where it was like the zzz, but like that game is just erased from the memory of the general public.
That was last year. This is this year.
So
The Niners lost.
And the Niners lost.
But you know who won? The Seattle Seahawks and the Cardinals.
That is true.
And the Rams very well could win tonight. They're up right now. And if that's the case, 49ers are in last place after week 1, Joe.
Ooh.
Not even Clark's prediction of 3rd, 4th.
So relevant.
That is a little irrelevant. But
Come on, it's the first week of the NFL. Nothing, irrational takes. It's not time to.
The Jaguars are in first place in the AFC South right
that
now.
that is correct.
That is very true. But we'll get there when we get there.
That's not.
Any last thoughts on the 4 o'clock games?
Nope. Let's move on. We have a lot of games to get through.
So let's move to the 1 o'clock games. Get a quick one out of the way. The Ravens absolutely destroyed the Browns, 38-6.
Get him out. Lamar looks great. He got better at passing. He's really accurate. J.K. Dobbins looks like a steal. The Ravens' defense is good. The Browns still suck. Let's move on.
Beautiful.
Browns are a poverty franchise.
It's the color orange, baby.
Did you see the new thing on for like Browns Twitter is who's gonna be the coach next year? Like they're already writing.
They're already out on
Stefanski.
Stefanski.
That's so
I bet
funny.
they are.
That's so funny.
He got hired 2 hours after he was bludgeoned by your favorite San Francisco Santa Clara football team.
Yep.
He did not deserve the job. He does not deserve the job.
It should have been Greg Williams, if we're being honest.
Baker Mayfield is wasting prime talent, and right now, don't know how hot of a take it is. I would take Gardner Minshew to run my franchise over Baker Mayfield.
Now,
I'm with it.
Are we starting to? Is Baker starting to get on the bus train?
Now, I think they're gonna move on from. They have to move on from Baker if this year is another.
I feel like he could succeed in another something else.
But see, the thing with the Browns is they just keep adding and adding talent, and nothing's working. They added Austin Hooper this past offseason for another elite pass catcher. You have Kareem Hunt, you have Nick Chubb, you have Odell, you have Jarvis Landry, have Austin Hooper. How the hell can you not win a game? And how can you not even put up 10 points?
It's the quarterback at that point.
You have to move on.
Yeah.
You have to.
This game really, I think we can't dig on the Browns too much because I do believe in my heart of hearts that the Ravens are just that good.
They are. They're incredible. They're a top 2 team in the AFC.
When it's 38-6, how can you not even put up 10 points in garbage time? Like, how can't you get anything going at all? But you can say, but see, here's the problem then. The Ravens are here for the next 5 to 10 years potentially, right, with Lamar, all things considered. If they can't beat them now, how are they going to do it down the road?
I don't know.
Because look at what the Raiders did with John Gruden. He saw the first whiff of what Pat Mahomes can be, and he blew that right up to retool and rebuild. They might have to go nuclear at the same rate.
No, absolutely. And it starts from the top down. The Dorsey family.
They just can't get a head coach to save their life at this point. Either commit to one and let them rebuild it, but you can't keep switching out. At this rate, they're switching out quarterbacks and coaches every other year, it seems like.
Yes, that is what happens.
Brown fan, I would call for Tyrod Taylor to come back.
Honestly, at this point.
He was fine. He would have been fine.
So say, the Browns go, 5 games this year. Do we see potentially Baker on the move then? Or
Probably. They should.
Should. Will they do it though? Probably not.
Who knows?
could this just be an overreaction? Probably.
But it's week 1.
But here's the thing: if they don't right the ship, and the AFC isn't what it is, they're not winning the division, and at that rate, their only way of getting to the playoffs is through a wild card spot. And there are probably a few other teams better than the Browns right now, anyway.
No time to waste in a division with a rookie, a third-year stud, and then the Steelers are going to be building up for the future quarterback at some point. Like you can't have the worst quarterback and the worst coach in the division.
And that's what the Browns have had basically since they got brought back as the Cleveland Browns.
Basically.
So real quick before we take a quick break, just want to touch on the Raiders-Panthers game. A little bit of a shootout on both ends, but Josh Jacobs, he's turning into just an elite running back for the Raiders and is really just the engine that makes their offense go. Quite frankly, he should have won Rookie of the Year, in my opinion, last year.
Yeah, it was a pity gift to Murray, but
the quarterbacks always get the edge regardless in MVP and Rookie of the Year votes, but that's here nor there. That's another discussion. But he had 3 touchdowns today.
dog.
Are the Raiders a little bit better? Like, is the Gruden experiment working almost?
Well, okay, I've been on the Raiders experiment has been working because they've been hitting on their draft picks and they have a lot of draft capital. They're building for the future going forward. So they have some type of semblance of what they want to do. Josh Jacobs is very talented. He's a great running back. I think they're building for the future, but in the meantime, they're developing guys. I think it's going to work. Gruden and the Raiders are tied together for a long time.
They gave him like a 10-year deal, I think, when they brought him back.
Yes, they already know if they're bad for 3-4 years,
they're okay
Gruden,
with that.
They're okay with that. They know what they're doing. They that's what they signed up for a team that is completely and fully in Gruden's image. And I think this game really just highlights both teams don't have a shred of defense. Not one little bit.
That was expected with the Panthers.
Yeah.
The Raiders were a little bit disappointing.
I don't understand. There was a lot of sleeper people the Panthers are coming out. If there was ever a team that I felt had no shot, it's new coach, new quarterback.
I agree. I entirely agree.
They stripped out the entire coaching staff. They weren't even good last year. I had no idea where that was coming from, and this is the type of game I expected. I expected it to be old-fashioned, just running back first sort of football.
And here's the thing too with the Raiders: they couldn't even stop the Panthers. How do you expect to stop the Chiefs?
Yeah, they're. I don't know.
That's who you got to worry about.
They didn't stop the Broncos.
Hey, we'll see what the Broncos do tomorrow.
And
night.
if every game for the Raiders are going to be 35-28, 42-34 games almost, that's not a credible way to win in
Derek
the
Carr's
playoffs.
not.
He can't keep
play
pace
from behind quarterback.
No.
He's good when he has a lead and he has to make the easy throws from
Jimmy
third down.
Garoppolo-esque.
Yeah.
That's before we wrap up, the trade rumors of them getting rid of Carr just went away.
Well, they're going to come back. They've surfaced and unsurfaced. It's
we'll see how Carr does. It's obvious they're not fully in on Derek Carr.
Yeah, but
I think anybody can see that.
Mariota is their other option right now, and it's not.
Yeah, I don't think they love Mariota necessarily either. I think they eventually want to draft a guy. They just want to wait until there is a guy that they like and can get him at a draft position that they like.
He shouldn't have. We can harp on the draft all we want and how great the Raiders do draft, but drafting Henry Ruggs when you have a guy in Derek Carr who's not really.
That's the thing. I think that's a draft pick for the future. I really don't think Carr is the guy there. I don't think Mariota's the guy there either. I think they're waiting on their guy.
I think so too.
And Gruden's ready for the long timeline. He's building that team up, I think, and the team is smart enough to know their window is going to be when they get a good rookie quarterback that they're not paying a lot of money, because they're going to need to stack up at every other position through free agency and the draft to slow down Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. I agree, 100%. No words.
Well, and with that, we'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll finish up the rest of the 1 o'clock games. We'll wrap up the Thursday night game, and the Sunday night game just ended, so we'll touch on that when we get back, and we'll give our predictions for Monday Night Football. Make sure you stay tuned and keep listening. All right, well, we're back for the rest of the episode of the Department Podcast, breaking down week 1 of the NFL kickoff. And we left off with, what game do we even leave off with?
Panthers.
Raiders-Panthers. And with that, we're moving along to probably one of the 2 biggest upsets of the week. And that is the Washington football team and the Philadelphia Eagles. And Washington somehow won 27-17. Just what the hell? And Chase Young is clearly the game wrecker everyone thought he was going to be, because he basically won the Washington football team this game.
Yep.
Chase the dog Young. Unbelievable. He really was at 2 a steal. Oh my goodness. Washington has a nice little defense there. It's not going to blow anyone away, but there's pieces.
But the part that, can really be utilized is that it's Jack Del Rio calling the plays. So that definitely, closes up a little bit of the shortcomings they might have, which is not having an entire secondary, but they sure as hell got one good young defensive line, all for cheap.
They got a little linebacking core going on too.
But what the hell happened to the Eagles?
Noah Hurd.
That's the bigger question. Like, how does Dwayne Haskins and the Fun Bunch basically beat, the Eagles?
What was supposed to be an NFC East division
Contender.
winner, pretty much.
Where was Antonio Gibson today? I don't know.
I don't
like the
your
promise.
fantasy team hurting a little bit.
This has nothing to do with fantasy. Honestly, it could not have less to do with fan. Is he even on my team? I don't even know. But Antonio Gibson, weeks after weeks of talking about he's the new McCaffrey. He's a huge part of our offense. This guy is the future of the league. 9 carries.
Well, and if you take away his 20-yard run, he has 8 carries for 16 yards.
Like, I just don't know. Like, I want to believe you, Riverboat. But anyway, no, Carson Wentz is alone out there.
That's the problem.
Still has no receivers other than 2 tight ends. That's about it.
And the route running is some of the worst in the league. I mean,
Granted,
I don't know. They drafted Jalen Rager, and all of a sudden, like, everybody's like, "Oh, well, there it goes. There's like,
Isn't
you got
he
like
hurt?
the 6th receiver.
Did he even play?
Everybody on their team is hurt. Now he played. He had the 1 reception for 55 yards.
Oh, yeah.
that was it.
That was it.
But also,
He had 4 targets, and that was the only one.
And didn't they piss off Ertz in contract talk? So now that's on some shaky ground. So he might be on his way out.
And Dallas Goedert was the only one that performed well with 8 catches, 101 yards, and a touchdown.
And having no O-line helps, hurts a lot too. I mean,
Well, especially when
it's
you go
a
up against
big
Chase
factor.
Young.
Exactly.
Because Lane Johnson was a game day scratch.
Yep.
They had no tackles
Yep.
or guards.
Honestly, I think the receiver. Yeah, I think they can work with the backup receivers and all the route running stuff. They can work on that and fix that throughout the season.
But that's been a problem for 3 years now.
Granted, that's true, but it starts at the O-line. People don't realize that. It starts at the offensive line.
Well, they had a really good line.
They did.
All their line is hurt.
It's hurt.
Or old.
Exactly. So you have to rebuild then.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's the thing. They're trying to do the Seattle Seahawks method that never worked. And that was draft 4th round and 5th round tackles. And eventually maybe one of them will be good. And
Unless
it doesn't work that way.
Dillard, who I was really high on coming out of college.
And he's hurt. Well, he got hurt again. He's another guy that's hurt. Everybody on the Eagles is hurt. Everybody.
No.
Their injury report is the whole team.
The linemen are so valuable now. You're seeing them going earlier in rounds too. Jerick McKinnon, Tristan Wirfs, all these guys. It's the big guys that help your team go around, baby.
The Eagles are
the thing is with those guys that are taken higher, we still see them not be good for like the first 2 years of their career because you can't hit in practice. So lineman developing takes longer than it ever has. You can have a guy like Eric Flowers look like he's the worst tackle in the league, be kicked out of the league. Now he's signed to be a right guard starting, and he's not that bad. Like it's really all about development, and most teams don't know how to develop lines.
The issue with the Eagles right now, it's obviously the offensive line, and they're on a clear trajectory to end up like the Texans, who are both on the path to get their quarterback killed like the Colts did with Andrew Luck. You know, that's a cautionary tale of if you don't take care of your quarterback early in their career, especially Carson Wentz. Say what you want about him. He has a bad injury history.
Yeah,
he is injury prone. You would think you'd want to bubble wrap him at all costs and invest as many assets as possible through free agency, through the draft, through the trade in keeping him upright.
Yeah, you said he has an injury history, but when he's not injured, he's at the top of not the top of the league, but he's top 10 quarterback in the league. He's a really good quarterback, but
here's the thing: the next problem is no one can catch a freaking pass for him. You have Alshon Jeffrey, who's slowly turning into one of the worst free agent contracts of recent time, honestly, because he's just not even on the field anymore.
Very Funchess-like in the signing.
Except a lot more money.
And a lot longer.
A lot more money.
Justin Valentovic is the type of guy who would go on a long, months long, even years long
collegiate career length rant.
Career length vendetta. How Carson Wentz is terrible. How he is a bottom of the barrel quarterback who can't even stand upright without just collapsing in on himself like it's a disaster. And for him to talk and to mention him not only in the same breath as Andrew Luck, but call on the Eagles, saying it's the Eagles' fault for ruining his career, is such a 180 that I'm beside myself.
I killed the Colts for ruining Luck.
That has nothing to do. That is literally the
What are you bringing up here?
Do you think he's a good quarterback or not?
Me?
Yes.
You.
He has the potential, but he's injury prone.
That is not the answer to the
That's
question.
not an answer. Yes or no?
He can be good.
So he's not.
So you don't think he's good?
Not. I don't think he's his top 10 quarterback. And no, I'm not listing 10 quarterbacks I think is better than him because that's just wasting time.
No, because you can't. Because pure talent-wise, you can't. You just can't.
Oh, look, Carson Wentz is on my screen. He was on my TV.
That must be a sign.
Was it the DraftKings?
As much as I hate Eagles fans and I hate the Eagles, I feel for them sometimes. No team deserves that. No team deserves that.
Fly, Eagles fly. I mean, yeah.
Eagles fly. Dilly.
If I walked into their stadium with a Giants cap on,
Getting your head taken off.
Yeah.
I'd probably die. But
I walked into a preseason game in a Colts uniform and I almost died. There's no rivalry there.
But in order for them to have a shot at competing this year for a wild card spot, even the division, because Cowboys lost, they need to fix the offensive line fast.
It's anyone's division, if we're being honest, too. Things can be turned around in a second.
The East is officially the worst division in football.
All right. Okay.
It is.
It is. It's the AFC South. It doesn't matter. It's a silly debate.
I think the AFC South's a little bit better.
Not when you have Derrick Henry, Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
And
they have better talent.
They have better talent.
There's more talent across 3 top-heavy teams than there are across 3 mediocre teams and a front runner by default.
Mediocre?
Moving along now.
First of all,
what?
I honestly think that the Cowboys roster
Stop. They just lost.
That means nothing. I'm talking about just pure talent. I think there's a lot of talent on that Cowboys roster.
They lost to the Rams. They lost to Jared Goff.
Jared Goff played terribly, and
that's par for the course.
A lot of that is on Mike McCarthy's coaching.
That's par for the course though with Goff, where he like limps his way to a win and gets his hand held to the.
He was a disaster tonight. Like honestly.
Yeah.
So moving along, let's just kind of blow through these 1:00 games a little bit. Pats beat the Dolphins 21-11 with Cam breaking the single rushing record for the Patriots by any quarterback with 64 yards.
It's the most talented quarterback they have ever had, and this is very exciting for us to all witness it. And I'm really happy that they got a nice, easy win to ease him into the fold so that next week when they take on the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday Night Football, which I am very excited for, they'll come back with the dub.
That's a primetime game in week 2?
I'm excited for that.
I'm excited for that.
Very excited for that.
We'll be recording a podcast right after that game for sure.
He's not the most talented quarterback in Patriots history.
Oh, Drew Bledsoe.
You forgot that the greatest quarterback of all time led
Jim
that
Garoppolo.
who lost today to the Cardinals. But you forget the greatest quarterback of all time is there. He's not. Cam Newton's fantastic.
Well, just because he's the greatest
Cam's a lot better.
doesn't mean he's technically the most talented. I'd probably say Cam's more talented.
This guy gets it.
He's a better athlete. He's more talented in all around aspects.
Athlete, talent is a different thing.
Watch the tape.
I saw the tape.
Watch the 2015 tape versus 2007 tape. It's
moving along now.
Different sports.
We're heading up to the north. Packers 43, Vikings 34.
Aaron Rodgers sure is washed up, guys. I'm glad everybody said that and then passed on him in fantasy because I got him in the 9th round.
I guess LaFleur and Rodgers are friends again. Are we doing that for the regular season? I
think they were cool. The media blows things out of proportions. If we're being
guys, how many points were scored total in this game?
77, right?
Okay.
43 plus 34.
What did the 49ers do to both of these offenses?
That was last year.
I'm just asking.
Joe loves bringing up last year's anything in any sport to justify the relevant season.
It's a question. It was just merely a question because I just wanted to know because I forgot.
No, you didn't. You can look it up on your own time.
Devontae Adams continues to prove why he's an elite receiver, though.
He's not the best receiver in football. Enjoy.
He's not.
He's the only option for Aaron Gunslinger Rodgers. But
he's an elite receiver, though, and it'd be amazing if they actually added another one and what the offense could actually do instead of drafting a quarterback.
Jordan Love.
Geronimo Allison.
But I don't know. I like Aaron Rodgers. I like him a lot.
This is going to be the North the whole season now. It's basically who's going to win outside of those two teams, and we'll probably see a Week 17-16 matchup flex to prime time to see who's winning the North again, as we have for the past 3 years.
Why do you sound so upset about that?
Yeah, right.
This is just the course for the Vikings with Kirk Cousins as the quarterback. They're gonna win against bad teams. They're gonna beat up on bad teams. They're gonna look really good. Their defense is gonna be so good against the Chicago Bears, and then they're going to play a primetime team. They're going to play like 3 teams that are over 500. They're going to get absolutely destroyed. Somehow they're going to talk themselves into like thinking they're Super Bowl contenders again. They're going to either lose in round 1 or round 2, and then they're just going to keep doing it over and over again.
Yeah, they've hit the cycle. Cousins. They've hit the cycle of just mediocrity. Like this is what they're doing. Kirk Cousins isn't getting them to the Super Bowl, and if he does, it's a wing and a prayer.
It's just getting worse. Like their defense has been on a steady decline since 2017.
Well, because figure Rhodes got old and got dumped. He's with Indianapolis. Everson Griffin got traded to Dallas. So those are 2 parts that were key contributors for the longest time for them that are just gone, and they didn't really replace them.
Yannick Ngakoue. The Vikings are going to win the division.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. You still got to face Rodgers in the playoffs then.
Right, division title are meaningless. Division title.
When your quarterback is Kirk Cousins,
yeah,
it's meaningless. Congrats, you guys are going to get home field advantage when there's no fans, and you would still lose if you had home field advantage with fans.
Look who gets to Super Bowls.
Not the Vikings.
Garoppolo's, Goff's, Tannehill's almost get there. Bortles is almost get there. Brady's get there.
Brady is not those guys, and also none of those guys won.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Who cares? I don't care about the Vikings. Let's stop talking about the Vikings.
Then
I just don't care.
Moving on from who cares about the Vikings, 2 teams who I really just don't care about. Bears, Lions. I just don't care about the North, honestly.
I
Quite
care about the
frankly.
Lions because they had a lead going into the fourth.
Well, they had the game in
They had the
DeAndre
game
Swift's hands.
locked.
They had the game. Stafford still won that game. DeAndre
Yeah.
Swift literally lost it.
Yeah.
He dropped that.
Where have we seen it where it comes down to the Lions either fumbling or incomplete pass or just something? Like it seems like that's every year.
And it's not Stafford. And it's never Stafford.
It's never Stafford.
Stafford always does his job.
Yeah.
And always gets screwed over.
If we want to talk about a team that's really wasted away a career of a quarterback, it's the Lions with Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, here comes about how Matt Stafford's a terrible quarterback, even though
let's talk about how Jimmy Garoppolo's better than Matt Stafford or something.
If Drew Brees throws 5,000 yards, but the team goes 7-9, you say it's his fault. But Matthew Stafford, after year of failure for the Lions, it has nothing to do with Matt Stafford.
If they go 7-9, that's a coaching fault.
The Saints are at least a somewhat respectable franchise. The Lions haven't won a Super Bowl since like FDR was a president, or at least an NFL championship.
Yeah, that's how long ago it was. It wasn't even a Super Bowl.
The Lions are the only team to ever go 0-16, Joe. Like, what are you arguing? They're such a
what are you arguing
franchise.
Here? Are you saying Stafford's bad?
Are you saying the Browns?
Are you comparing Matt Stafford to Drew Brees? Sure, yeah, that's
they
cool.
had they had two potential. Well, they had Barry Sanders, an all-time great running back, and an all-time great wide receiver, retired just to get the hell away from that team.
The Deshaun Kaiser Browns went 0-16.
You're comparing them to the Browns.
Oh yeah,
because that's such an elite company.
Oh,
Jim Caldwell went 7-9 and got.
I don't care. It's weird seeing Adrian Peterson in a Lions uniform. Okay,
that's my biggest takeaway.
Yeah,
the Eagles should have signed Adrian Peterson. If we're
anyone else.
Also, the Washington football team probably shouldn't have cut him since they don't have a lead back either.
Moving along now to a game that's even. God, these games suck and they're so irrelevant. The Bills beat the Jets.
They destroyed them.
I'm done
with
Sam Darnold. I'm done with him.
Jets have no hope. Bell has a hammy injury. Their season is just
Joe?
Dead.
What?
Here comes the great defender of Sam Darnold.
Darnold didn't play bad.
Pump the brakes.
Darnold's
bad. The Bills have an elite defense. Adam Gase is still clueless. You get rid of Le'Veon Bell, which was like the only semblance of something he had to deal with. It was a disaster. I mean, besides the fact that, first of all, Marcus May, Jamal Adams, who, I mean, this guy's outstanding.
The Seahawks game. The Jets lost.
Here's my problem with the Jets. You know, we were talking about how the Eagles and Texans can't really go anywhere until they put an offensive line around their quarterbacks. When the hell are the Jets going to give legitimate weapons to Sam Darnold? Because right now he's reached their potential of what he can actually hit.
Sam Darnold is done. I don't want Sam.
Well, it's not that he's washed. It's just they refuse to put legitimate talent around him to help him grow.
Sam Darnold does good in garbage time, and that's all he's good for.
Every
time is garbage time because he can't. I mean, if he has no offense, there's no receivers. There's no line. Like, there's no tight end. There's nothing. The offense is literally nothing. And then at least then you're like, okay, well, I'm sure if there's nothing on the offense, they have to have somewhat of a semblance of a defense. Wrong. You're wrong. They don't.
Imagine how
it's
much.
It's like almost like they had an all-pro safety and then lost it. They really could use it.
Imagine how much worse that defense would be if they didn't have Greg Williams calling plays.
Oh, just defensive tackles.
Oh my God! They look like they have 4 defensive tackles playing the entire line.
Because that's all they draft.
That's all they draft.
That's all they draft. They've drafted Muhammad Wilkerson, Sheldon Richardson, and Quinn Williams, who are all the same fucking players. And then they have them play defensive end.
Did you even mention Leonard Williams?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
I got him. The one who Dave Gettleman traded for. Just because he have advanced scouting on him.
Oh God,
okay,
this is Jets are going
to. The Jets just have nothing.
4-12.
Darnold can be a quarterback somewhere else, but
send him to Cleveland.
Nobody.
Baker for Darnold.
If you put Darnold in Cleveland, they're making the playoffs by far.
That might be a legitimate swap at this point.
Honestly,
if you put Sam Darnold on the Rams, they'd be 16-0.
with McVay holding his hand
No,
for him.
Darnold is a starting caliber quarterback. The Jets are a minor league football team.
Jesus Christ.
Moving
Yeah,
along to somehow
along.
this was a 1:00 game because it was in the East. Talking about Jamal Adams and formerly the Jets, the Seattle Seahawks beat the Falcons 38-25. I feel like we see
It was
this
more
matchup.
convincing than that.
I feel like we see this. I feel like we see this matchup.
Scores.
We see this matchup once a year. Once a year.
I don't know how they do it, but every year.
Russell Wilson continues to prove why he's the third best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. Even higher at that point, honestly.
Semantics. No, first of all. Yeah. I mean,
He's top 3.
He's top three the lowest.
Seattle's the best in the West.
I would put him personally number 2. But
I put him number 2 also.
Oh yeah, and Jamal Adams, not a game changer. 12 tackles, quarterback sack. Absolutely
not a
game changer on defense.
Did I say he wasn't a game changer?
You said it doesn't move the needle.
Marcus May was good compared to Jamal
You also
Adams.
said adding Jamal Adams does not move the needle at all.
I mean, it makes him a better team. It doesn't make him an elite. Like,
you're not calling him elite?
franchise.
Okay.
No, I don't think the Seahawks are a top 5 team. I think I'm putting the elite.
Joe, whatever you're smoking tonight, yeah, you gotta share with the bunch, baby.
Okay.
DK Metcalf's a good receiver.
DK Metcalf's a good receiver, so is Tyler Lockett. Chris Carson's a pretty good running back. If you can get 10 games out of him,
Seattle's just
the
a good
defense looks
team.
really good.
Yeah,
It's a good football team.
They held the Falcons down the whole game and then let them get basically 2 garbage time touchdowns.
They just stopped playing.
They just stopped playing. Like this game easily could have been 38-10. Like they stopped caring. The 38-25 is not the real score.
I want to see him against the Patriots.
You will next week.
I'm interested to
next
see,
week,
yeah.
Sunday Night Football, baby.
That's fun.
We'll be recording right after that.
Woo.
You know what's great, Joe? Even if the Seahawks get blown out by the Patriots and the 49ers beat whoever, Seahawks still are better in the division.
That's true.
It's crazy.
There you go. And the final game for the 1:00 games on
Let
Sunday
Justin
of Week
handle this
1.
one.
The Indianapolis Colts, led by Old Man Rivers.
I said
lost
a
to
couple
Jaguars.
days ago to you guys.
The biggest upset of the week, honestly. The Jaguars, who are legitimately tanking and not caring.
I said to you guys a couple days ago, the Jaguars and the Colts were going to split games. You guys were not going to beat the Jaguars twice. I didn't think you were going to lose the first meeting.
For some reason, Frank Reich and the Colts, regardless of the head coach, they get into whatever their stadium name is in Jacksonville and just orbit confusion. They just turn off their brains and just forget how to play.
And it doesn't help that it was week 1 too, and the Colts are now the last 7 years 0-1 on week 1.
Look, as the completely unbiased, because I'm not a Colts fan here, I'm gonna say what I've been saying. Phillip Rivers.
He's old,
man.
He's
a turnover machine.
Okay,
that's what he is, guys.
He had 2 picks.
Yes,
he did.
He had 2 picks, 2 very bad picks. That's literally what a turnover machine is. I was told if Phillip Rivers was put behind a good line, he would not make those boneheaded throws. And what did he do, Justin? Say it with me. He threw those bad throws. He did. He threw 2 really bad picks.
Well, also, the elite running game of the Colts.
Phillip Rivers is.
They're down a running back.
They're down their 1,000-yard rusher
hurt,
from last year.
That's great, just in time for him to hit the contract year. So
the Jaguars, guys.
Yeah, I know. We lost to the Jaguars.
And again, Frank Reich is another one that's supposed to be like a great offensive mind. You guys just drafted a running back, and I hear how much you guys love Hines. Those are 2 very capable running backs.
Well, also,
you do not throw the ball 46 times when your quarterback is 38 years old and has thrown bad interceptions for almost all of his
This
career.
is where Rivers, he shows his age. He'll throw for 350 touchdowns and still lose.
Yeah.
You guys didn't punt.
I know.
You guys did not punt, and you lost.
And that's also on the defense, too. Granted, the Colts offense was not that good during the game. The Colts defense was
Gardner
horrible
Minshew
watch.
was picking it apart.
I
like
know.
he was
The issue-
like he
I
was
know.
prime Joe Montana.
I
At one
know.
point, he was 15 of 16.
I know.
And I think the
There's
one
no
incompletion
argument.
was a
I know.
drop.
I know.
The clear issue is they don't have a secondary. It's not there.
I thought Kenny Moore was supposed to be good.
Who said that?
That's what I heard from people. I heard Kenny Moore was like a legit enough corner that like he wouldn't be destroyed by a rookie in Laviska Shenault.
Justin,
Let me get people on the
close.
phone to tell them they're stupid right now because I don't agree with that statement. But
Xavier
yeah,
Rhodes,
Xavier
also
Rhodes.
old. Malik
Oh.
Hooker, not good.
But
granted,
wait, Justin said Malik Hooker was better than Landon Collins. Does anyone remember that one?
He still is. What's Collins doing these days? Wasting away in Washington?
Big win today.
Big wins today for him. Can't say the same for Malik Hooker.
This is going to be an up and down roller coaster for the Colts and Rivers, though.
I think it's going to be a whole lot more down than up.
I'm still willing to give it more time, but if it still happens this against the Jets week
If there's
3,
one thing you need to do with a 38-year-old quarterback is wait.
hey, man, you gotta let him adjust to the system,
problem is
baby.
they can't go back to Jacoby. That's not much better.
Bring in Jacob Eason.
Well,
baby.
no, but the problem. Okay, this is the problem though. If they, let's say Rivers somehow gets them to like a 7-9 record, you guys aren't in position to
I
take
know.
a quarterback then.
This is what the move was. This is why I was hesitant on it because nothing good could come of it. Either you win a Super Bowl or he's complete. But here's the thing, because Rivers isn't bad enough to be like 2-14 and put you in position for Lawrence or a top pick. He's not bad enough to do that, but he's not good enough.
Right?
But he's not good. What? No, 1 year. It's just straight
okay.
1 year.
Okay.
But that's the thing.
But the thing is,
but
they're not
you
good
guys don't
enough to
have
get to a Super Bowl with him.
Exactly, with him at all, especially with that defense. Rivers isn't
Jets-
putting up 40 points a game.
Yeah.
If the Jets go 1-15, you can trade up for the number one pick. Enjoy.
Real quick then, because that's enough with the Colts. We'll talk about them and the rest of the teams who played 1 o'clock window next week on Thursday Night Football. Chiefs absolutely they prove why they're the best team in football. Texans are bad. That trade for Hopkins and David Johnson is aging poorly, and it's only week 1.
That's it. Yep.
And with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the Chiefs have a running game, and that is terrifying because now they can just eat clock a lot faster. It's basically what Kareem Hunt was to that offense before he got kicked off the team, basically.
The Texans have a wide receiving core full of guys who run a sub 240, and yet Deshaun Watson and Bill O'Brien can't figure out how to get them the ball.
Well, it's because the line can't block for longer than 3 seconds, so they can't get further than 10 yards down the field.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank
They
goodness
stink.
that Laramie Tunsil's there.
Jaguars are in first place. They stink.
Horrible move. And moving the last game of the week, Sunday Night Football. Rams beat the Cowboys. What was it, 20-17, I believe?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
Neither
gonna
team
say,
looked impressive.
No, but
No,
I think
it was
I
ugly.
think people got too harsh on the Rams. They're a talented team. So are the Cowboys, but the Rams have talent. They are just very limited at the one really important position, and that's quarterback.
But the Rams' talent won the game. Aaron Donald,
Yes.
Jalen Ramsey, Robert Woods
Won them the
won
game.
today's game. Like, legitimately, that was it. That was
Yeah.
what it was all about. Talent
And
won. And the Cowboys are an uber-talented roster. But Mike McCarthy has got to pick it up.
And it doesn't help defensively that Van Der Esch is out with a broken collarbone now.
That was tough.
He's his career's almost done, if we're being honest.
I don't know.
Very injury prone the last 2 years. He had one good rookie year, and then he's just consistently injured. So I don't see an upside to this with Leighton Van Der Esch.
It's just the Cowboys, once again, are going to win the East by default.
Default.
And it wasn't it was like CeeDee Lamb didn't really do much. You know, Amari Cooper had a good game. Zeke, was par for the course. But, the Rams had an equally as good run game with, 3 different running backs.
Absolutely. And a lot of that is credit to Sean McVay. I mean, the guy can coach. There's no doubt about that. But beyond the fact that when Goff, if they just covered the screen, if they just played against the screen, the Rams would have lost this game by 20 points.
Oh, that's how they got all their yards.
Legitimately. I mean, you could say the same thing about Dak Prescott, but I really liked they took shots downfield with Dak. That's not something they did a lot with Oh God, Jason Garrett. So I mean, we'll see. I saw the Rams should have won that game by a lot more, but at the same time, the Cowboys did not play terribly.
No. So real quick then to wrap up the podcast, we got Monday Night Football tonight. By the time this is released, we're recording it Sunday night. It doesn't matter. Who cares? People probably aren't listening this far into the podcast. Anyway.
They turned it off by now.
No, they're long gone. Who are you picking Monday night? Because we got a doubleheader. Giants, Steelers, and then Titans, Broncos.
We have a little department feud here. We have Joe's Giants versus Jesse's Steelers going on right now.
Oh, my Steelers are going to win.
We got about 5 minutes left, so
I think
it's the Steelers for the
three
first
of us
game,
are going
right?
Steelers for sure. Let's see what.
Oh, Joe, he's definitely going Steelers.
That Steelers defense is no joke.
Think about this. I painted this picture in the group chat, and no one laughed. I don't know why. But when Daniel Jones is strip sacked by T.J. Watt, and he takes it to the house to put the Steelers up by 19 points, and Daniel Jones has to run a lap around MetLife Stadium in front of no fans because Joe Judge's crazy rules, you're going to know that this team is not winning more than 4 games.
Granted. And Justin, you know what Micah Fitzpatrick does in that arena.
Oh, in MetLife, that's his home stadium.
He does.
Justin loves Micah Fitzpatrick.
I love Micah.
Guys, if there's a secondary to come back to,
it's my high school PTSD. Jabril Peppers losing to Micah Fitzpatrick again.
Yep.
If there's a secondary to come back to and start throwing on for Ben Roethlisberger,
it's the Giants.
It's the Giants. It's the Giants.
Yeah.
Ben won't
he might pick them apart.
Bradbury, Logan Ryan.
Steelers around the horn.
Then real quick, Titans hosting the Broncos. What an unappealing matchup.
Give me the Titans. I just don't think the Broncos are as good as people think they are. Sutton's about to be out with an AC joint injury on his shoulder.
They don't have
Von Miller's out for the year.
Von Miller, you're right.
Bradley Chubb got hurt last year, so we'll see if he can, really get into it in his third year coming off of an injury.
I want to take Denver really badly.
Yeah, my gut, I want to say Denver, but
I can't.
My brain's going Tennessee.
Me too. I'm going to stay with Tennessee too. Yeah.
And I'll pick Denver. Easy.
No, okay.
Okay, fine.
We have a little rebel over here.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that's the week 1 recap. We'll be back we'll be recording it every Sunday night, dropping it Monday morning throughout the entirety of the football season. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Wednesday we'll be dropping, I'll say, NBA playoffs. That's a little more important than baseball, right?
Yeah, we'll have game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals done. So
yeah, so Wednesday we'll drop a basketball podcast. Friday we'll drop baseball, and then Sunday we'll drop wrestling like normal. So that'll be our normal schedule of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Sunday for a while, really, until things start ending and we start switching it up here and there. But even then, topics will change throughout the days, but those will probably be the dates regardless. Yes, Joe, real quick.
Real quick. Number 1, great job, New York Yankees. Nice little sweep of the Orioles. Number 2, shout out. I don't know who it was. I don't remember which 2 of us picked the Celtics to beat the Raptors, but shout out to those 2.
Oh, I didn't. I picked the Raptors.
I think it was just you, Joe. Or was it Jesse?
No, I did too. I picked Celtics. Yeah, because I said if it was Tatum or Siakam, give me Tatum. I was right.
If the Heat weren't in the Eastern Conference Finals, I would have probably picked Celtics. But since the Raptors were the better matchup, I picked the Raptors.
Well, we'll definitely get more to the NBA on next episode on Wednesday. So, Clark, tell people where they can listen and follow us.
You guys know by now.
Follow us on. Do they make it this far?
No, they don't. My mom makes it this far. Thanks for listening, Mom. So subscribe on YouTube, guys. Apple Podcast, Spotify, all the above. Leave a 5-star review. Tell us your favorite part of the show. Leave a comment, all that good stuff. Follow us on our social media pages on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, @thedepartment_pod. We really appreciate you guys listening. We'll see you in the next episode.